What's up, guys? Tonight we're doing a tier list for Operation Deep Freeze, talking about the changes to the operators and the talking about Tubarao as well. We're going to start with Tubarao and we're going to go through all these operators. So Tubarao, I'm going to list as this yellow recruit because Tubarao is not on this list. So Tubarao, I'm going to be placing very confidently at the S tier. People have been saying like he's not that strong, but his gadget is really flexible. He has a DMR on defense that two shots any operator to the body. Nitro. And like I said, his gadget's super flexible. You can use it to nitro people through the floor. You can use it to keep walls closed. You can use it to do almost everything. You can use it to roam and, like, you know, freeze off like claymores or air jabs, etc. Like, you can use it for so many different things. So I think that the more flexible operators are going to be higher end picks. So I'm going to put him in S tier. All right. Now let's do all the defenders, and then we'll do all the attackers, shall we? Alibi in the current meta, B tier. I'm going to go pretty fast, so if you guys are interested on why I placed an operator somewhere specific, make sure to drop it down in the comments below, or if you're on Twitch right now, ask me about it. Alibi doesn't really offer too much to the meta. Honestly, B tier is generous. Rooney. I'm placing a Rooney at B tier, but I'm placing Alibi 1 tier down, because Alibi still doesn't really bring anything super important to the meta. Rooney does have that DMR, and she's good, but she is slow, so B tier, I think, is very fair for Rooney. She's definitely not the same tier as Alibi, though. Azami, easy S tier. Azami's one of the best operators in the game. Don't need to think about that one at all. Bandit, B tier. Can keep walls closed, but his ability requires tricking, and can be a little bit hard to do, and you can't use it all the time. So you compare him to, like, an operator like, let's say, Cade. Cade's an S tier. Cade keeps walls closed a lot better than Bandit or Mute. His gun's a little bit trickier, and he is slow, but overall, his ability is way better, which is what you're picking the operator for in the first place. Let's go to Castle. Castle, I'm placing at the... I'm going to place Castle at the B tier. Because he can be really good, or it can be really bad. It really depends on how you play the Castle. So Castle is going to be in that middle range, and he's not going to be a must pick every single round. Like, the operator is going to be an A and S tier. It's like, you pick these ops, you're probably going to win games. Capkin. I mean, Capkin's just a really good operator, and you get free kills by doing absolutely nothing. Anytime you get secure free kills is always a good thing. Vera, D tier, don't play her. She's just bad. She's probably one of the most fun defenders to play in the game, but you don't need to play Kavera, bro. Be real. Come on. Clash, same. Clash is only good in, like, maybe a competitive environment, and you, like, are doing something specific with the Clash, but Clash is just overall just nasty big. Legion S tier. I think Legion is one of the best operators in the game on defense. Amazing gun, impacts. His ability works really well in terms of, like, closing down just a bunch of just the crouch walking meta, because it is Raid 2.0, the TDM meta. Legion helps counter that quite a bit. Doc, I'm placing Doc at the A tier. Doc is really good. The heals are nice, healing people all the way from 0, and you can set up the site with the bailiff. So looking at Doc's counterpart, Rook, I'm going to be placing Rook more towards the alibi. I feel like Rook can't really make lines of sight like Doc can, and Rook doesn't have any, like, super good use. I mean, impacts, everyone has impacts. Doc has barbed wire and can set up the site, so you can set up the site entirely as Doc. Rook, you can't do it really any of that. His armor is kind of nice to have, though, sometimes. Echo, that's an easy A tier. Sometimes you just don't really need the cameras, but Echo's kit is really fucking good, and you can't really go wrong with Echo's kit, so boom. Ella, definitely hovering more towards here. It doesn't feel right to put Ella in there, but here is more acceptable. Her ability is pretty nice, but her guns are a little rough. Frost at B tier. I feel like frost mats are a lot easier to counter than most other traps like Capkin, because Capkin's on doors. Like, normally you're, like, in a fight with somebody, that's why you accidentally hit a Capkin trap. But with frost, I mean, if you know they have a frost, you just always, anytime you jump in a window, you just shoot straight down. Traps are always nice, though. Traps are always going to be good. And in fact, I'm going to place Frost up 1 tier, because I just feel like her ability to set up the site with 1.5 scope and everything is still really good. Mute, Smoke, easy S tier operators. I mean, Shotgun has really love in combo. Their abilities are both really amazing. wall deny. You can stop drones, smoke. You can hold off an enemy team by yourself for a while. Both are really good. Lucy definitely got a little bit of a nerf. Not this recent season, but you know, in the season past. We're gonna place the Mel at more of the B tier range because her ability is still really good. And I mean, MP5 is not bad, but no 1.5 scope and she's slow. So B tier, I feel like it's solid. Because her counterpart, which is Fenrir is an S tier operator. In my eyes, there's not much of a reason to bring a Melusi if you can just bring a Fenrir, whose ability, I would argue, works a lot better. Because when you're Bansheed, you can't sprint in, sure, but you can still defend yourself. Fenrir, you cannot defend yourself. And it's not like you're going to sprint in completely blind most of the time. Like, and he can move his chaps around. He has barb. He can set up the side. He can do so much. Fenrir is probably one of the best operators in the game. Mira is definitely not an S tier operator anymore because she can easily be countered by an operator like Ashe. I am going to place the Mira at A tier. You're going to be able to shoot any object, any attack or gadget that can drill into something like a Kali or an Ashe. Anything that can drill into a surface, you will break the glass now. So I'm going to place Mira just slightly lower. Still really good because, you know, you can still like counter that with like Womais and whatever. Like, but it's just, I don't think it's as strong. It's not an easy pick. Because most people are going to be having an Ashe on their team. So there's always going to be a counter of Mira running around. So that's why it's one spot lower. Oyo, really good occasionally. His fires, you really need to know what you're doing with these fires because or you're just going to get in everybody's way. But his guns are good. His guns are great. And we got attackers. Jaeger. I'm placing Jaeger at the A tier and placing the Womai at the S tier. Because in the current meta, I feel like Womai is a better operator. He just has overall better guns because of the 1.5 scope. And it's a lot more flexible. Jaeger, like, you have to really plan out what you're doing with these devices. And if they have, like, a Twitch or a Bravo, they can just easily, you know, deal with your stuff. Womai disc, it's so hard to find them because you can throw them anywhere. You can throw them on the fly, and you're throwing them throughout the round. And you're going to have overall more than just the ADSs. Yeah, the ADSs come back. But most of the time when they start burning the ADSs, they're going to burn it all the way and probably just destroy the ADSs anyway. So definitely still useful, but I think Womai is more of a flexible bring disc for the entirety of, you know, your team. And Jaeger is more like if you have like a smoke shield area situation or a corner that you're trying to hold, then Jaeger is going to be kind of nice. Cade is not A tier. Cade is the best wall denial in the game by far. And that's not really even a debate. That's just general facts. Maestro is going to have 3 bulletproof cams, which is a little crazy. I would normally place Maestro around here, but with 3 bulletproof cams, it's hard for me not to put him at least at A tier because he has as many cameras as Valk does, and they can shoot. Like, Maestro can just have complete overwatch of literally everything with these bubbles. It's not super easy to destroy the bubbles either. Like, you have to, like, do stop destruction. Like, you can't Twitch drone. You can Brava, but I feel like 3 bubbles is kind of crazy. And his guns have never been bad. The old meatball with the LMG, his gun has never been bad. We got Mozzie, I can't really respectfully put him. I'll put him here, not because of the utility he brings, but more because of his fragging power. I'm placing him in the beats here. Definitely, more, if you're a shooter and you can use that Roni, then he's a good op. But he doesn't really bring much for the team. I disagree. Personal opinion on Cade. Well, Cade is the best wall denial in the game. Like, who's a better wall denial than Cade? Name one up. Oryx, I feel like, is very situational, depending, like roaming on a map, like let's say Bank, where there's a lot of flank potential, could potentially be good, but most of the time he's just going to be just like, why not just pick Legion, bro? All right, what else we got? We got the Pulse. I'm going to place Pulse at the A tier because when there's a Pulse on the board, you have to play the game a different way. Like, you know, Nitro might be coming. It's just more dangerous. I can't place Pulse to the S tier because it is not super hard to counter that, but still an annoyance you have to deal with. Compared to every other op on S tier, Cade doesn't belong. Well, I completely disagree. I feel like Cade fits in right at home with these ops. He's not the highest, but he's not the lowest. Like, he's in the middle. These are not in order, mind you. Solis is an obvious S tier. Solis is one of the strongest operators in the game. Solis, Enrir, Azami are very, like, if there's an S plus, those 1, 2, 3 all by themselves. Valkyrie. I'm going to place Valkyrie at the. I want to place her at the S tier, but with Maestro Cams being stronger, I'm going to place Valkyrie at the A tier because I don't know. I just Valcam's in ranked. Valk's going to S tier, but like just overall, like I feel like a lot of you console people, like most people won't even watch cameras. This is like you have to have a 5-stack and you have to like really care, etc. It is an easy S tier. It's not in a debate. You're not gonna convince me that K should be anywhere at A or lower. He's very locked in at S. He's a very strong op. If you don't understand that, I'm not sure what else to say. But I'm not even gonna be debating that at all. Tachanka, I think Tachanka is pretty mid still. His LMG is kind of fun to use, but he's still pretty mid. Like you don't need to bring a Tachanka over a smoke. You just don't need to. Will you rearrange in order? No. I don't care about placing them in order because there's too many. Why are you placing Mira in front of Jaeger? Like, nah, if they're on the tier, they're about the same level. Just about roughly. Thorn is an A tier because of just your fragging potential. As Thorn is really good, and her trap is actually pretty useful, not to kill people, but to force them to have to take an unfavorable engagement along with the barb. I don't like playing Thorn too much, but most of the time you see someone going off, they're playing Thorn, and it's just annoying. Same with the Warden. Like, actually, I'm gonna place these ops at B tier. These three, the fragging trio. They don't really offer much in terms of utility, but it depends on the player that's playing these. Like, they're only as good as your shot because they don't really offer much in terms of team utility. But if you can aim your gun and you can shoot your gun and you're a decent player, like they can definitely feel like they're more S and A tier. But overall, like a newer player looking at the list, like I wouldn't suggest playing these ops. I would say every operator at S and A tier are easy play ops. Everything B and lower, I would be like, okay, you gotta really know what you're doing. Like I would still pick a lot of the B tier ops. When we get down to the C and D tier, we get more to the ops that I probably would never play in ranks if I was actually trying. But B and up is, depends on the site. Pick these occasionally, depends on what I'm doing. S tier is easy go-tos. Loyal B tier? Yeah, because again, it depends on the player. Loyal can either be really good or it can just be completely mid. Because a lot of times I'm not going to see a Goyo make or break a round. Vigil, I am placing Vigil more towards the Oryx because he can be good, but it's more of a roaming situation. I feel like that's it. Oh, we have Thunderbird. Thunderbird. The current meta definitely C tier. Like, there's no reason to bring a Thunderbird over a Doc. No way. That's just ridiculous. All the defenders? Did I get them all? I believe I did. And this is Tubarao, for those that didn't know. Tubarao is S tier operator, in my opinion. Based on his overall kit, his DMR, how flexible his utility is on, like, matching someone to the floor, holding off people in a 1vx, or, helping deny a wall. So, hit Tachanka's B at least. Make sure to post that in the YouTube. And tell me why. Don't just say, anyone that's watching this, if you have a different opinion on an operator, if your opinion is only moving an operator up or down a tier, then we mostly agree. But if you're like, Capkin should be C tier, let me know. But if you're like, K shouldn't be S, he should be A. It's like, well, that's your opinion of it. And we mostly agree. You understand my rationale there. But if you completely disagree with my rationale, make sure to let me know. All right, this is it. Oh, it's good to go. So let's go to reset. And now we're going to do the attackers. This is pretty easy. Ace is going to be an S tier. In a fragging TDM meta, he is the easiest to use hard breach in the game with a good gun. Very easy to place him there. Thermite is going to be, let's do the breaches first. Thermite's going to be A tier. Ivana is going to be S tier. Maverick is going to be B tier. So, dude, I just completely disagree. Kate is definitely an S tier. Like, you can keep saying it, but you gotta convince me why. Like, you just saying he's A tier, not S tier, is not gonna convince me why. You gotta tell me why is he not as good as other operators that are in S tier. He's one of the best operators in the game by far. Why do you think Kate's banned so much in high elo matches and pro league? All right, so for hard breaches, Ace, Hibana, in terms of the way their utility works, firepower more for Ace, Hibana more for her ability in opening is more strategic. Thermite is good, but it requires a little bit more of a soft, soft hand. You gotta know what you're doing, or you're just kind of sitting still. Maverick beats here because you really gotta know what you're doing, or Maverick's gonna be useless. And Maverick isn't like a must pick every round. Like, you're picking Maverick to counterplay somebody. Amaru is going to be more of a C tier. I'm going to place Amaru with the Maverick because in terms of like strategy, it's like, it's like you pick it sometimes, but not all the time. And sometimes when you do bring it, you win the round over it, but you're not going to pick it every round and you're not going to play it all the time. This is for the average player. This is for high ranking level players. People that are playing a champion, either potentially comp. All right, now let's do all the operators with grenades because I'm looking at the side. Let's do all the operators that have grenades. We're gonna do all the new operators with grenades, and we're gonna do all the old operators with grenades. The new operators that are getting grenades, let's do op like Sens. Sens is getting grenades. This could actually be really good because you have grenades and an ability that's throwable, so you can burn and then throw your grenade. I mean, honestly, I feel like that does bring Sens up a bit, but I don't think higher than B. I might be wrong on this one. Might be higher, but right now my instinct tells me to B's here. Grenades though. Blackbeard. I feel like that does make Blackbeard a little bit stronger. I'm gonna place Blackbeard at C tier, but like I can't respectfully put his Blackbeard because his gun is ass and his shield it's just generally annoying. It just pisses me off. Osa. No. This is a wild one. Osa's definitely at least an A tier. I could place Osa up higher, but I feel like with the ranked TDM meta, Osa is just too much of a baity op to really be an S tier must pick every round operator. So A tier for me. Lion. Lion, I'm going to be placing Lion at the A tier as well. In terms of pure raw entry, this is an amazing operator with his ability, and you have grenades. Very, very good. I'm not sure about S tier here. I could be convinced on this one. These two, no. Him, maybe. Lion is really good. We also have IQ. IQ, I feel like, is going to be the go-to entry in the future, especially with grenades now. You have the 3-speed, you can find utility, and you have grenades. So like IQ is going to be, Vita Gonzalez. Do some of the old operators. So that's all so there's 5 operators that had grenades, and they added 5 more. So there's 10 operators with grenades now. You have Blackbeard, Sens, Lion, Osa, and IQ. Now let's go to the operators that already had grenades. Binka is an easy S tier. I'm going to explain these after I put them up. Gridlock. Ledge. Blaz. Knock. They're not all S tier. I just wanted to place them on the board so I can start moving them around. All right, so Finka is a definite S tier. Finka is one of the best entries in the game right now with her ability to heal. Her gun is a little tough. Her ability to heal off the first entry kills, and then with grenades is always nice. Gridlock, grenades are getting slightly nerfed, so I feel like Gridlock is not going to be an S tier, but it's still a very, very strong operator to bring for the flank denial. Amazing guns, and you still have grenades to clear things. So I think Gridlock is just slightly worse, but not like super bad. Sledge, I feel like, is still an S tier operator because you're not bringing Sledge specifically for just fragging ability. You're bringing Sledge for your ability to open up self-destruction either horizontally or vert. You also have grenades. So Glads is going to be more of a I gotta place Glads more with the Blackbeard. I mean, Blackbeard has grenades too, but just there's so many other options that have grenades now. There's no point. And then Knock is going to be around this tier of S tier is always bring no matter what. You're going to be golden. A tier is the tier of bring them sometimes, not every round, but maybe every other round. B tier is only occasionally. C tier is you're kind of trolling but might be cooking. And D tier, you're definitely trolling. All right. That's the opposite with grenades. Then let's go through the rest of the attackers. I feel like Ashe is a S tier. The way that she can counter Mira specifically is super fucking strong. And Ashe has always been kind of like the go-to entry player. So let's do her counterpart, Ayana. I feel like for me that Ayana is a worse version of Ashe now in the current meta. But Ayana is still like, if you place in a good players on Ayana and Ashe, chances are you're probably going to be winning matches. Like, just be frying out. Guns are really good. They have the speed. A little bit of clear on both. I mean, you have more clear on Ashe than Ayana. That's why Ayana is slightly lower. Ayana has a little bit more drone intel. So yeah, I feel like they're both pretty solid, but definitely I feel comfortable with this. All right, Blitz. Again, Blitz is a good shield, but this is the situational picks. Bring it sometimes, do not bring it all the time, or you're gonna regret it. Ying, A tier, easy. Ying is such a good operator. In fact, that feels harsh. I think Ying needs to be higher because Ying can like make or break. And if you had a Ying every game, like I don't think anyone would cry over it. Besides the other team. Ram, I'm gonna place Ram at the A tier. So that's solid for Ram. What's list 4 for the next season? Deep Freeze. But Mav is going to be a bigger pick for the next season for the new op, right? Yeah, but the new op can't keep the wall closed forever. And Mav is a, like, B tier is like, you bring it sometimes, you don't bring it all the time. So Mav is a very certain situation where you know they're going to Tubarao the wall with wall denial, and you're picking Maverick to counterplay that. And then after that, Maverick's just like, whatever. You know? There are other ways of dealing with that, but Maverick does make it easy to deal with a Tubarao trying to wall denial. But, like, other than that, like, what is Maverick really good at that no other operator can do? You're bringing him specifically for that purpose. Which is, you know, I mean, look at Beats here. You have the Amaru, the sneaky entry sometimes. The Sens, you try to go for those quick plants. The Knock, the sneaky lurk. Then Blitz, you go for a Blitz Rush. You know, like, it's situational ops that can be good, but I wouldn't bring it every round or you're going to be trolling. Brava, I'm going to place the Brava at the B tier along with the Twitch because your guns are both really good. I like both of these operators with more intel, more droning, and you can counter some util. But it feels like a lot of times when you bring these operators, you're like sitting around trying to find things to destroy and you can't. And then you get your drones destroyed, and then you're just an operator with no self-destruction. There's already other operators that can do that. So depends on the situation. Buck, easy S tier. Do I need to explain this one? I didn't think so. Buck is one of the best operators in the game. His gun is the only thing that's wrong with Buck in my eyes is his recoil is a little bit hard to use, but other than that, he's just amazing. What else we got? Dokkaebi, easy S tier. Don't need to think about that one either. Has any ability that is a global ability that affects all operators without you while you're completely safe in no danger is going to be almost guaranteed S tier. That's why Doke and Finka are. Finka's ability is really goddamn good, and then she has grenades, so she's an amazing entry. She can heal everybody on the map, and you know, any of grenades. Doke, I mean, you affect everybody. Makes the clear so easy. Why does Ubisoft create operator names that everyone can't pronounce? Well, they're from different parts of the world, and you know, not everything is English. You know? Flores. This is a tough one. I'm going to say Flores is an S tier because I definitely don't think that Flores is bad. Sometimes it's played by baiters, but Flores as a whole has always been a good operator. I put IQ at S tier because I think that IQ is probably going to be one of the go-to entries. She's, in my eyes, very similar to Ashe. She has 2 grenades. She has speed, and I mean, her ability isn't useless. Her ability can do things. You can help open up the wall, and then you can try to grenade somebody, and then, you know, run around an entry. Yeah, so the operators that got grenades, for those of you that missed that. IQ, Lion, Osa, yeah, I'm not joking. Blackbeard, and Sens. Sens with grenades, honestly, I kind of want to put Sens higher. If you learn how to play Sens correctly, you can burn all the utility with your, you know, just throw it, like you can burn it, and then you can just throw grenades in afterwards. You can do it all yourself. I gotta play Sens at B tier. I'm sorry, A tier. I might be wrong on that one, but I feel like the gun was actually improved. I've seen the recoil on it now. It's actually not that bad to use. It feels like the PDW somewhat, and you have grenades, you have speed, and an ability that it can be really strong occasionally. Sens equal to grid. I kind of see that. Except that Gridlock has a super shorty, which is pretty useful sometimes. And Gridlock's guns are incredibly good. Oh. All right, more attackers. Capital. More of the situational pick. Bring it sometimes, but not all the time. No real D tier operators just yet, but we'll get there. Let's say Fuse. Fuse, I'm not going to quite place him at D tier. I'm going to place him at C tier because Fuse has purposes and not for the purpose that some of you noobs think I'm talking about, like killing people with your grenades. It's more for clearing utility from above. Like you can clear so much enemy utility from above with a Fuse charge, a well-placed Fuse charge. So it can be somewhat useful. And you have a hard reach, so you're encouraged to go upstairs. So Fuse can be strong, but most of the time he's not going to be super good. So C tier, I can't quite place him at D tier. Grim, I'm placing the B-boy at C tier. I just can't respectfully place him higher than that because there's just so many better options to bring over Grim. Like I just feel like if you're playing Grim, you're just kind of trolling a little bit. You know, you might be able. I can't place him with anyone in B tier. That's embarrassing. He shouldn't be at C tier. Maybe I need to place these guys lower. Here, I'm gonna place these guys lower. There. I can't place Grim with these two guys. All right, what else we got? Attacking. Jackal, don't need. A little bit worse than Doke because you do have to physically find their feet. Doke just instantly works no matter what. You don't have to be inside the building. You don't have to be anywhere close to the defender. Jackal, you have to physically be on top of someone's feet, and you can only track one person at a time. So I feel like Dokkaebi is a superior Jackal with a decent team. But Jackal is still really good in terms of the roam clear. Nomad. With grenades being nerfed, I definitely think that Nomad is I don't know. I feel like Nomad's still really strong. Like, in fact, my mains are usually like Finka or Gridlock. Like when I'm playing ranked because I like grenades, but with grenades being a little bit worse, I definitely feel like I'm going to play a little bit more Nomad because grenades aren't going to be doing it nearly as much, and air jabs are always useful. If you're being an aggressive Nomad, you watch Shaiko. There you go. Say less. I need to run the 1x though. What else we got? Callie. Do I need to explain this one? D tier is. Why give Glass grenades when he needs to use his smokes? Team play, I guess. Glass should never. I don't know, bro. Callie can counter Mira's. You can any attacker utility that burrows into the wall will crack Mira Glass now. So Ash and Callie are full ass counters to a Mira. But like that being said, you're always probably gonna have an Ash. And Callie is a little bit more like, what are you doing? Yeah. Let's go on YouTube. Yes. Thatcher. I feel like Thatcher just makes literally everything 5 million times easier, especially in ranked. So Thatcher just needs to be up there. Like I thought about maybe A tier, but Thatcher is always good. You can't go wrong with bringing a Thatcher. S tier is always bring. A tier is bring it occasionally. Several times per game. B tier is maybe one play per game. C tier is almost never, and D tier is very, very, very rarely or don't. All right, what else we got? Monty. Monty is gonna be more in the B tier range. Because like Blitz, it can be somewhat effective, but not every single round, but can be effective. Sophia. Sophia is a decent entry. The only thing that's wrong with her compared to other operators, that like these three, is that she's slow. But Zofia has arguably better utility than all three of them. But Zofia is kind of a crappy entry because you're just so damn slow. So, still really good though. Still really good. Is that for the attackers? Oh, Zero. Of course. You guys would get mad at me if I forgot Zero. Zero to me is more of a solo queue style operator, but he can be really strong. And I feel bad placing Zero in this tier with all this really good utility. No way I can place him up here. But I feel kind of bad placing him in B tier. But I'm going to place him in B tier. I feel like Zero is just very situational and be really strong. He's like a Swiss Army knife that can deal with a lot of different obstacles, but isn't the best way to deal with any obstacle. So can be really strong. I don't know. I just gotta leave it at that. I just can't place him in this lineup with all that utility they're bringing. There's just no way. There's no way. Is that all the attackers? I believe so. Unless I'm blind. That's it. I said why Montagne is in an A tier. Well, like I've said this before, I will say it again. Any operator that you're saying, like, you need to move him up one tier or down one tier, you get my rationale. So you kind of understand. You just have a little bit of a difference opinion. Remember, this is my tier list. So if you're like one up or one down, you mostly agree. But if you're like, Montagne needs to be S tier, Montagne needs to be D tier, then yeah, make sure to comment and like tell me why you feel that way. I feel like Montagne doesn't bring nearly as much utility as any operator in the A tier list. So I definitely stand strong on leaving Montagne in B tier. And in fact, I was hovering on putting him lower. Zero easy A tier. Again, like what I just said, I just disagree. I feel like almost every operator in A tier has a better gun than Zero. Yeah, kind of. His cameras are good, but you can just drone, normally. And he doesn't really help do anything special that other operators can't do. Zero, it's like a Swiss Army knife if you have to deal with everything on your own. So he's like that solo queue style operator. If you want to feel like you have to deal with everything on your own, then he's the op for you. But if I have a Zero, let's say I'm playing with a 5-stack and someone's picking a Zero every single round, I'm gonna be a little bit pissed. He's definitely not in this range. This list to me is more of this is for the champion diamond emerald players that are playing ranks pretty somewhat seriously. Not necessarily a comp tier list, because most of you guys watching this are not going to be competitive players. That's not a dig. It's just, this is what people want to see in terms of like, what should you play? This is my opinion of what I personally plan on picking in terms of like any situation that arises. S tier is I'll always pick. A tier is I'll pick it occasionally. B tier is I'll pick it very rarely. D tier is I'm probably not going to pick this. And D tier is I will probably never pick this ever. So, and make sure to going on the YouTube. So make sure to subscribe, drop a comment, leave a like down below for more. Again, if you guys have a different opinion on where an op should go up or down, make sure to let me know down below in the comments. But again, if you're just talking about one going up one tier or down one tier, then you still mostly agree. But let me know if you have any like Brava should be D tier, Brava should be S tier. Let me know if you have anything like that. All right, guys, peace out. Until next time.